There, now I'm not yellow. Hi, everyone. We're going to wait until some viewers join us on our side, so please be patient here for a second. We will get started. If you're watching a recording of this Hangout, please skip ahead till something happens. We always start the Hangout by going live, and then we have to wait a few minutes until the viewers jump in. So I don't want to start. Good, but I can't see you down here, Arthur. It says 0 viewers. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start. Arthur, one of our powerful tools for teaching and learning team member, said, yes, I'm live, and I knew that. I was waiting for the little tab on the bottom to tell me we had viewers. First, let me welcome you to our last Hangout. Susie will be giving a similar Hangout on Symbaloo tomorrow morning. That's Friday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. But this is the last one for me, and I'm sad because I've enjoyed meeting with you online and hearing your stories and watching you learn with us. And I've enjoyed that so much. So I hope you will continue to learn about Web 2.0 tools and add new tools to your toolbox. We're preparing a goodbye video from the team for you, and that'll be posted on our Coursera page for a while. We are going to leave the course up so you can access the material. If you want to look at the peer evaluations and those kinds of things, they'll be available to you next week. Let me remind you, plead with you to please complete the post-course survey. That survey is located on the left menu in your navigation bar, and we really would appreciate your feedback. Today, we're going to talk about an interesting tool that is an organization tool. It's called Symbaloo, and what it does is it lets you organize your bookmarks, your videos, all of your learning resources with symbols and kind of a fill in the symbol visual diagram. We're going to talk about how you might use that and how you might use that in education in your classrooms today. So we're going to switch here to our screen share, and I'm also going to put up the question and answer page over here. Question and answer right there. Teresa said, are the features of Symbaloo.com and SymbalooEDU.com the same? And today we're going to talk about Symbaloo EDU because it does have a very education focus and allows you to share sites with your students and your peers, fellow teachers. I believe that the interface is almost identical, except that the EDU site, Symbaloo EDU, has more class-centered features rather than a personal feature. But that will be an interesting discussion topic on our discussion board, and of course that'll go on for another few weeks, so feel free to share that. And Teresa, are you familiar with Symbaloo already? You can share that in the questions. In fact, it would be good for me to see how many of the viewers have used Symbaloo before. So if you'd use the question and answer format over here on the right side of the screen, That would really help me because then we could ask you for some feedback. So if you would respond there, that would help me a lot. Give you a chance to respond. And if you'd put whether you use Symbaloo or Symbaloo EDU, the web address is basically the same. For Symbaloo EDU, it's symbalooedu.com. And for the regular version of Symbaloo, it's just symbaloo.com. Symbaloo is a free tool. It does have a premium version that you can subscribe to, but the free version is really quite nice. I'm going to switch and do some screencasting here for the Symbaloo manual because I think it's easier to show you some of the features in the manual, and you of course can download that. I'll show you where to do that. So let me switch to screen share here, and we'll look at the user guide. Okay, thanks, Teresa. So this is a user guide that's available in PDF. Let me make it a little bit bigger because then perhaps you can read it a little better on your screen. It's available in PDF. It covers most of the questions that you would ask Symbaloo if you could see them face to face. So let's look at the basic interface first here. And we're not looking at Symbaloo live. We are going to go and make some bookmarks here in just a minute. But I thought this would be a little easier to share this with you. So the interface here is that you have a grid in the middle of the Symbaloo page. And this is after, of course, you've created your account. And in the grid, you can group websites. You can create new web mixes. That's what they call web mixes. It's different pages of this visual guide. And if you want to go directly to a website like Dropbox here that I'm highlighting, you just click on it and it takes you there. So if you imagine that you have a page of links to your favorite websites, this is what it is, except that it's in a much more visual format. So this particular manual has 6 main chapters, and we are not going through each of them. We're just going to look at chapter 1. But if you're interested in using Symbaloo, this is a really great manual because they've taken the visual idea to heart, and most of it is screenshots rather than just reading a lot of text. So, of course, you have to sign up for Symbaloo. It's a free account. Be sure that when you sign up on the EDU site and not just the regular Symbaloo site. And they ask that you save it as a home page, but you do not have to save it as a home page. You can create a tab at the top of your browser and use it there. It does make a good homepage because it's the jumping off point for all of the websites that you would visit most of the time. And it gives you directions here for how to set Symbaloo as your homepage in the different browsers, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, and Chrome. So to add a tile to your Symbaloo grid, all you do is you click in a space that doesn't have a tile, and you can right or left click, and then you can just type in the name that you want, and there you are. If you want to change a Webmix, which is the collection of tiles or websites, you can edit the tiles. You can add a Webmix by going to the top of the page and clicking that little plus. That'll add a new page, like a new tab, and then you can add a Webmix to that. You can group tiles. You can add a color marker to your tiles so they look a little more similar. And if you click the letter I on your keyboard and hover over a tile, you can get information about that tile without clicking on it. Chapter 3 covers the most important thing about Symbaloo, though. If you're a teacher, you can share Webmixes. These are the pages, the tabs at the top of the Symbaloo site. You can share them privately or publicly. And you can share them publicly to the gallery, or you can share them privately with friends. And when you click Share My Webmix, then it generates the link of your Webmix, and you can share that through email, or you can embed that Webmix in a website. You could also share it on Twitter. You could share it on Facebook. If you want to, you could just copy that link and share it in a web page or through email. You can also search through other people's web mixes in the gallery. So you can click here in the gallery, and anything that is public that people have said right here, publicly available in the gallery, will be there in the gallery. And you can search the gallery for things like they're showing back to school, a certain school, middle or high school math. Now, you can, once you've created a tile, you can click on that tile and go right away to that website. But you can also click on a feed, a news feed, and read the headlines in the center box. So lots of really interesting and extra things that you can do beyond just using Symbaloo as kind of the capture for websites. You can also embed a Google Doc as a tile. So if you had a homework assignment or directions or even a student project, you could change the website to embedded opens in Symbaloo, and the Google Doc will show up directly inside Symbaloo. So you could have a Symbaloo web mix for every class that you teach, and you could have specific sites for those students, and you can put up specific documents for those students. You can also follow another user and look at the web mixes they create that are public, that they've set to public. Finally, the last feature in Symbaloo that is nice is you can download the Symbaloo bookmarker, and you can add this to your web mixes, and you can edit a bookmark tile just like any other tile without even going to Symbaloo. So really an interesting tool that I think would make a great tool to be your toolbox. So let's close this manual and let's go and look at Symbaloo, for example. I'm logged into Symbaloo. This is my profile over here. I've logged in as Sarah, and you see I have, let's see if I can make this any bigger where you can actually maybe read some of these things on my screen. These are my web mixes. So I have a web mix here that says EDU Teachers, and this is actually a web mix that Symbaloo offers, and it has things like writing, reading, and grammar. It has a link to Google, to Wikipedia, and to some other sites that might be helpful in teachers who are using technology. Then my next web mix, edutools, has a lot of the tools that I use in the classroom. And these are created in sections. So I have organizations here, and I have Twitter, Animoto, Jing, SchoolTube, all kinds of things that I use all the time, including VoiceThread and Skype. Over here in another Webmix, I have educational news feeds. And these are news feeds. Remember, we said you could include RSS feeds from CNN, from Education Week, from ZDNet, Education News, headlines, New York Times for education. And I can add these news feeds, or I can even, if I click one of them, I can read that while I'm right here in my browser. That's a particularly old one. There's also some widgets here. Let's go back here. There we go. There's some widgets here that are very helpful. These are more productivity tools. So there's a calculator available right here, shows up in the middle, stock market. There's a notepad that you can type in and save. There's an advanced task list, a regular task list, a contact sheet that you can add contacts in Symbaloo, mail, horoscope, LinkedIn, some comics. So this is more little apps that are not particularly related to education, but you can add one simply and easily. So let's look at some Symbaloo by states. What Symbaloo does here, and we'll look at Texas, for example, but I would encourage you to click on your own. These are people that you might follow. These are Symbaloo experts. We'll just pick one here. Jan Hodge looks like a very friendly person. And you can see that she has some web mixes and followers. And let's see what web mixes she has. Here's one. So this is for CISD libraries. And you can take a look at the web mix that she's created that they use in her school. And look here, there's Padlet, one of ours. So let's go back to our Symbaloo web mixes and look at how you might create a web mix. If you want a new web mix, all you have to do is click here. It brings you a new page. You can put in the name for your web mix, and you can say if you're going to use it for RSS feeds. Those are blog feeds. You could also search for a web mix in the Symbaloo gallery. So if there's a web mix that you just want to add to yours that's already been created, there may be one that just suits what you want. Giuseppe, we are going to get back to you, and I'll be right there. What I've done here in Symbaloo is I've started a public Symbaloo mix, web mix here, and I've started putting the tools that we've used in our MOOC up here on the board. Let me show you how easy it is to add one. First, I'm going to go to a website that I like that we did not talk about in the MOOC. We just ran out of time. What it is called VoiceThread, and I'm going to copy that URL, and I'm just going to close it. Here's my board. It's PTTL Web 2.0 Tools, and all I do to create a new tile is I just click anywhere that I want to. Now you can always move these around too, but I'm going to click. I'm going to create a tile, and I'm going to paste that URL for VoiceThread. Once I do that, you'll see that there are icons that appear down here, And if there were more than one, this one is not very clear. You can choose either one. And you can say it's a website. If we were doing a Google Doc, remember we'd put embedded. But since this is a website, that's what we want. And the name on the tile, I can set what that is. I can add the text color. I can show the text, see here, because if I had a symbol and I couldn't remember what it was, then I could actually add the text. I can change the color of that tile. So if I wanted to color code my tiles, the ones for collaborative work, the ones for creativity, the one for communication, I could do that. And then all I do is I click Save. And that tile becomes part of my Symbaloo Webmix. If I wanted to rearrange it, all I have to do is just click and move that tile. And when I click on a tile, like clicking on Padlet, for example, it takes me directly to that website. Pretty cool. So this is a very, very easy way to organize, keep track of the tools in your toolbox, and share them. So I'm going to show you how to share this particular PTTL Web 2.0 Symbaloo Webmix. I'm just going to click this share button at the top. And my Webmix is already published. It's available in the Webmix gallery. Here's my details. And you can see I started putting related words and tags in here. But if you wanted to look at this Webmix, this is the address. And I'll share that on our discussion forum if you want to see it. It's edu.symbaloo.com/mix/PTTL Web 2.0 tool. And I can share that on Twitter, I can share that on Facebook, I can share that through email, or I can generate here an embed code, and I can copy and paste that embed code into a blog or into a web page, and that mix here will show up. Now, this is not a Webmix that's really ready yet, because you can see that I only have five tiles on my Webmix. So I'll want to work a little more on this before I really publish that for people to use. But that's the idea. It's really a simple tool. And if you had a group at your school who wanted to start sharing some common websites for history, ESL, reading, math, science, this would be a great way to do that. Would be a person could start capturing websites and then sharing them. Giuseppe, I didn't see a link on your post for how you use Symbaloo EDU. But what I'd like you to do is please share that on our discussion forum for our Hangouts. That would be great, and we're always looking for new and interesting tools for our courses, and Symbaloo seems to be a great one. If you joined us late or you didn't hear me, I want to especially thank you for being such great students in our MOOC this time. We have had a terrific time, and I've enjoyed your stories and your ideas and your conversations more than you'll ever know. I really appreciate it. So let's continue our conversation on the discussion board about Symbaloo. Remember, look for Google Hangouts week 5, Symbaloo, and we'll continue talking about this. And Giuseppe, I hope that you will post the link, the public link to your Symbaloo.edu webmix. Be sure that when you do that, if you want to share your web mixes, that they're set to public. That's really important. All right, we'll be talking to you more. I hope you enjoyed the peer assessment. And next week, you'll be able to see that peer assessment. So goodbye for now from Houston, Texas. If you'd like a double dose of Symbaloo, be sure and tune in the morning. Susie will be talking about Symbaloo from 9 to 9:30. Bye, everyone. Thanks again.